You know, a big story this past weekend was Jason Kelce taking his shirt off in the stands in Buffalo. If TJ was still in the playoffs, would we have seen you doing something similar to that?
I'm not a shirt taker offer in a stadium type of guy, but you would see me waving a terrible towel for him. That's for sure. I definitely support. I'd throw a few beers back for him. I'd shotgun some beers with the fans, get some Miller Lights going. But yeah, I don't know if the tarp's coming off. I think Jason Kelce has the perfect body for that activity.
Definitely. What is it like having a brother in the NFL and competing against one another? Because I'm sure it's got to be such a surreal experience.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I mean, we talk about all the time how crazy it is, how wild it is. But to me, it's really, really cool because we get to talk about things that nobody else understands and can discuss. I mean, we're literally talking about pass rush moves, and we're talking about plane trips, and we're talking about the locker room dynamics and all these things that, you know, you grow up dreaming about and wishing about and wondering what it would be like. And we actually get to do it, and not only get to do it, but we get to experience it with our brothers, and we get to tell. And I've made mistakes throughout my career that I can then help him avoid so he doesn't have to make the same mistakes. It's really cool.
Definitely. You know, and circling back to Jason, I know that there's rumors that he's retiring at the end of the season, or is retiring. Any advice for him as he enters that new chapter in his career?
We'll see if he does or not. I mean, he's a great football player. He's still playing at a really high level. So if he does continue to play, he's going to be a great player. But if he does decide to retire, he's an absolute Hall of Famer, and he's had an incredible career. So he seems like a great family man as well. And he has a great family there to enjoy time with. So I don't think that he's going to have any trouble finding some enjoyable things to do with his life. There's plenty more time for some brews and a little beer pong or whatever he wants to do, also being a great dad and watching his brother play.
Definitely. You know, we're UsWeekly, so I got to ask you, what do you think of the Taylor Swift effect on the NFL?
I think it's great. I can't understand why people are so upset about it. I mean, they show celebrities at games all the time. Like, don't act like we don't show male celebrities at games all the time. I don't really understand why it's caused such an uproar. I get it. I mean, she's literally there supporting her significant other, and that's what you should do as a significant other. So I think that it's great. I think she's brought in a massive amount of new fans to the game. I think she's brought all sorts of eyeballs and interest, and there's so many people learning about the game that haven't necessarily watched it at the same level before. So I think it should be nothing but celebrated, and I think that it's not her fault they put the camera on her. Like, just it is what it is.
It's so true. How did you and your wife kind of balance life with you in the NFL and things like that? Because it's a grueling schedule. You're not there a lot. Was it a challenge for the two of you, or did you kind of find a good rhythm?
We're very fortunate. You know, she's a professional athlete herself, so she fully understands, and we have that conversation. You know, we go through a lot of the same things, and so we understand. Like, sometimes you come home and you know, you're down, and the other person just needs to pick it up. And we've both been through some injuries. We've been through some adversity together. So it's all about helping each other through that. And she helped me through some of the darkest, toughest days of my life with the injuries that I've had and some of the, you know, downsides that come with that, or after a big loss and you think the world's ending, and she's able to pick me up and be like, hey, it's going to be okay. So it's been really special, and we have a really great relationship that's only been stronger because of what we've been through.
Was the transition retiring from the NFL easier or harder than you thought it was going to be?
I think I tried to prepare myself for it as best as possible. So I would say it was right about where I thought it would be. I actually might have been a little bit easier, just because your mind and body feel so good. Like, it sounds like, you know, almost silly to say that, yeah, your body's going to feel better when you're not hitting people every Sunday, but it really is nice. And the amount of time that I get to spend with my wife and son, and we get to travel and we get to do a bunch of stuff. So I've really enjoyed it. I mean, I certainly miss the locker room and the relationships and the camaraderie and then that adrenaline rush with game day. But waking up on Monday morning feels a lot better now.
I'm sure it does. Not covered in bumps and bruises. But was that like a big factor in your decision too? Like, spending more time with your family at home? Like, your son was, you know, only a few months old when you decided to retire too. So I'm sure it's really nice spending that quality time.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, it was a big part of my decision. You know, I want to try and be the best father that I can be, and I know that takes a lot of time and energy and commitment. And football also takes a lot of time, energy, and commitment. And I had a great career. I'm very proud of it and had a lot of fun, but I'm really looking forward to and enjoying being a dad. Definitely.
And then one more dad question. What's the one thing about being a dad you wish someone told you before you had your son?
That's a good question. That's a good question. 'Cause, you know, I almost silly to say that, yeah, your body's going to feel better when you're not hitting people every Sunday, but it really is nice. And the amount of time that I get to spend with my wife and son, and we get to travel and we get to do a bunch of stuff. So I've really enjoyed it. I mean, I certainly miss the locker room and the relationships and the camaraderie and then that adrenaline rush with game day. So the amount of, I mean, it's a good and a bad thing, but the amount of time and energy required is, I mean, you like, everybody tries to tell you, my brother has 2 kids. He would always be like, you know, I'd ask him, hey, can you come on this trip with us? And he'd be like, I have 2 kids. And I'd be like, well, yeah, like, you can just leave for a weekend, you know, like, and then he's like, oh, all of a sudden you have one, and you're like, oh yeah, you can't just like get up and go do whatever you want. You have a human being to take care of. But I think on the same side is the amount of energy that they give you and the amount of life that they give you. It is the coolest thing ever to see that youthfulness and to be reinvigorated by that energy. So it's extremely tiring. It's extremely time consuming, but it's also the happiest, greatest thing that'll ever happen to you.
Totally, definitely. So thank you. You're 100% right. I couldn't agree with you more. And then JJ, before we wrap up, if you just want to remind everybody where they can go get more information about Dawn and how they can get you to wash their dishes, which I absolutely love. I think that's so much fun.
I'm obviously excited to partner with Dawn. I mean, when I do a partnership, I try and find something organic and real and something that I actually use and believe in. And I had Dawn dish soap in my house since I was a little kid. Now I have a kid of my own. He makes a mess. We clean it up with Dawn. They also do such great work with wildlife and helping clean up birds and ducks after oil spills and things like that. It's the only thing that wildlife rescuers trust. So we got together and we said, what should we do? We said, let's give away $1 million of product to people, and let's also have a wash party. So people can go to jjwashparty.com, and one lucky winner will get to fly them and up to 9 of their friends down here. They watch a game, I wash their dishes. Should be a lot of fun.
That's going to be awesome. Do you do a lot of your household chores at home?
My wife and I are very good about splitting it pretty 50-50. So one of us will take Cola and one of us will wash the dishes. And she actually just got back from a little girls trip this past weekend. So I had Cola for 4 days straight and did a whole lot of dishwashing during that time. It was a lot of fun. I'm
sure. What was the daddy-son bonding time like?
Oh, it was incredible. It was good. We had a lot of fun. We went to the park. We had a little daddy-son date. We went out to dinner. He loves sports right now. He likes to put the little ball on the tee and hit the ball and play basketball. So we just hours and hours sat there and had some fun.
I love that. Are you going to encourage him to get into football? How do you feel about that, about him following in his footsteps if he chooses to do so?
Yeah, he clearly loves sports right now, so he's definitely going to be involved. He's a big boy, so I would imagine he's going to be all right at football. So I definitely will encourage him. But whatever he wants to do, I think for me, the benefit of sport is so huge. You know, the learning teamwork, discipline, work ethic, how to handle winning and losing and those emotions, how to overcome adversity. We're really big on that. Obviously, Kelliher being a professional soccer player herself, they've had such a big impact on our lives, and we know how important it was for our development. So I think he'll definitely go in that direction.
Definitely. What's your favorite part about being a dad right now? I know you're in that toddler stage, which is so much fun, but also a lot of work. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, so I get it. So I know it's a lot, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think the greatest part about it for me is the fact that every single day when I wake up, no matter what kind of mood I'm in, no matter how little sleep I got, no matter what happens, when I see him and he smiles at me, everything in the entire world melts away. And it's just the happiest, most unconditional love you could ever have. And seeing the world through his eyes, watching him learn, watching him grow, watching him figure it all out, to me, that's the best part.
Yeah. What's the biggest challenge, though, at the moment?
Right now, it's probably sleep. So we just transitioned him to one nap, and he struggled with it the first couple nights, and then he slept 12 hours a night for the last 3 nights, which was great. And then this morning he started to creep back a little bit to waking up early. So it's always sleep.